Shit. I want.
Yes, 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 yes. Let's play some music. Lullaby. We'll do a bunch of stuff. I love that tune.
Alright. Hello and good evening, and welcome to Field Talk. A little bit late. I am the Field, also known as Field of Bears, here to remind you, as always, that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide. Now, tonight, I don't have Pete, I'm still wearing my work clothes, and I'm wearing my safety glasses. You know what that means? I was working too long to prepare. So, off the cuff. And I think we can probably just, tell them I say aloha back. So, that just off the cuff. So I went and I read through the entire SCOTUS decision on the gay cakes just now. And this, so I have some thoughts rolling around in my head. I think that this ruling is good for free speech. I think that since it protected a Christian from endorsing an activity with which he disagreed using his artistic talents, I think that's a good thing. However, I don't think it goes quite far enough, because I think that anti-discrimination laws, A, are counterproductive, and B, are immoral, because they force you to associate with people who you'd rather not. And in practical, for the simple reason is, if somebody hates you, why would you want to force them to serve you? How do you know you're not gonna get the Yelper special? So I think that the insistence that discrimination be solved through law and authoritarian control over other people, I think that's more than a little bit dangerous. Because if you want to be tolerated and if you want to be accepted, then rather than force people to change what they find acceptable, rather than force people to tolerate you even if you're being intolerable, I think that the proper direction to go would be to convince people that what you are is acceptable by virtue of maybe you can't change it, or that no harm shall come because of it. Likewise, there is no harm done by refusal to engage in business with someone. I think that you should be able to discriminate for anyone for any reason. I should be able to discriminate against somebody because I don't like his stupid face. It could be that petty, and it would still be morally justified. So, Now, I don't think that this decision protects the First Amendment enough. While I am certainly happy that it protected the First Amendment that it protected freedom of speech to the extent that it did, I think that it could have gone further. And if you read Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dissenting opinion, it is just this jumbled up mess of mental gymnastics where Justice Gorsuch uses a concurrent case where someone went in and tried to get a cake with a message disparaging to gay marriage on it, and that I think that Stupid Faces is even more petty and silly than skin color or sexual orientation or philosophical disagreements based Battleship. That's why I think it's hyperbole to say. Golly, it's ever so warm in here. So, yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dissenting opinion. Yeah, Justice Gorsuch, he brought up the example of a case that was concurrent in the same state and decided by the same anti-discrimination board that decided in favor of the baker because he found the statement offensive. He disagreed with the statement that would have been put on the cake philosophically. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg tries to somehow justify the idea that a wedding cake is not a celebration of the wedding for which it's going to be used. Obviously, she fails to convince me, because I'm not an idiot. But the amount of mental gymnastics and bending of just absolute cognitive doublethink in order to come to that conclusion, I think that there's a distinct possibility that she didn't actually come to that conclusion. I think that instead she started with that not protecting people from discrimination, but rather she started with the Christian must be wrong. And I think that's how she got her decision. Now, I think everyone needs to go read Gorsuch's concurring opinion because it absolutely dismantles those arguments. It is like 15 pages long. It's the biggest chunk out of the 50-page decision that I just read, but it would be entirely worth it, and I think that you should go look at it. And this, now I'll tell you something else good about this is stopping compelled speech protects the ability to speak freely about what's important, about I know it's not quite the same topic, but I am going off the cuff here. Because if they can make you say something, they can also make you not say something to compel you to stop speaking. If they can compel you to say something, obviously it cuts the other way as well. Like if it was possible to compel you to say how much you love gay marriage and how glad you are that this gay marriage is happening, so glad in fact that you lend your artistic talents to it, then what's to stop the next anti-discrimination law to be saying disparaging things about particular groups is discrimination now? What's to stop that? What's to stop if If we give one single inch on free speech, what is to stop that? Nothing. If you give a single inch on any issue, even if you find it reprehensible, even if you think opposing gay marriage is scummy and reprehensible and absolutely unjustifiable, even if you think that, if you give a single inch on the ability to express and abide by that belief that you find reprehensible, then they can come for your beliefs next. There's nothing safe from an authoritarian crackdown on what should or should not be said. Nothing at all. Even if you disagree with this baker who didn't want to celebrate a gay wedding with a gay couple, even if you disagree with him, you cannot allow the state to tell him how he should express his beliefs. Space Battleship brings up a good point that we already have examples of where they have changed the definition of the word racism while dishonestly transforming the social stigma of its use as a character label. That's a very good point. Now, the word racist, I've been obsessing over this idea, guys. I don't think that you can actually hate a part of humanity. I think you can only hate all of humanity. I think that the spirit of destruction, once it gets its hooks into you, it goes all the way down to your core, and you hate not only the people least like you, but I think you hate the people most like you, and I think you hate yourself even more. I think that people who actually do have racist ideas, I don't think they stop hating at skin color. I think they continue to hate people of their own race. And I think that when they look in the mirror, I think they see the most disgusting creature on earth. Yes, never discriminate against a space battleship that can nuke you from orbit. Never ever do that. That would be a silly mistake. Because space battleships, they're amoral. Yeah, so you can't give a single inch on this. You can't. Because it's an idea I've come up with before, but I think that free speech is binary. Either you have it or you don't. If you have free speech, you can say awful, dreadful, reprehensible things about anyone, any group, or you could. Well, going along the same line is you either have freedom of association or you don't. You could be the most awful jerk who only wants to associate with people who've had their left ear cut off. And you should be able to do that. You should be able to only hire people who've had their left ear cut off. Free speech is molesting. No, space battleship. The gun in the room has done that. See, there's only one gun in the room, and whoever has the gun makes the decisions. Whoever has the gun gets to decide who can talk. Whoever has the gun gets to decide which ideas are put into practice. And so the socialists who call themselves the far right, who call themselves the alt-right, but the alternative to free markets is socialism. And just because you put national in front of it doesn't make it anything less than another form of the failed ideology with fundamental axioms that cannot possibly provide anything but starvation and genocide. And that makes much more sense. Space Battleship. But anyway, yeah, there's a gun in the room. And these two opposing not only to each other, but to everyone else, these two opposing factions of socialists, they intend to take hold of that gun and pull the trigger on anyone who dares oppose them. It's happened every time. Every time there's been a socialist takeover, it's what happens. There's a Stasi. There's a KGB. There's a NKNVB. I forget what it was called before it was called the KGB. There's the secret police. There's are saying disparaging things about the people in charge. And the ideology they purport to follow. Especially the people who claim that they're not following the ideology as faithfully as they ought to be. Those ones die first. Which is why I have honest pity for the morons dressed up in black waving their ANCAP. Sorry, no, wrong. They're anarcho-communist, contradictory flags. You're right, BLM is another faction of socialists. I've seen their websites. They demand all sorts of socialistic nonsense. And they call it reparations. Reparations. No one in my family ever... Well, like, my ancestors might have had serfs in the castle, but that's different because they were white. But yeah, no one in my American ancestry ever owned a single slave. We weren't rich Americans. If I'm having audio problems again, it's probably the heat, B West. I have no idea. I can't tell how my own audio sounds. But I'm really sorry that I didn't have a good monologue today. Let's check my filters. Noise gate. No. Guys, let me know. Answer B West question. Guys, please. Alright, dudes, the heat is just killing me too much. I got a little bit overly passionate just then. So, I think I'm going to kill it early. I think. Yeah, but it's awfully hot in here, B West. I need to get the air conditioner ordered. I have no idea if the movie is any good. I would actually love to watch it if it's any good. There's a secret channel? Yeah, dudes. No hanging out, really. I think. Oof. I can't just hang out and talk to the chat because it is simply too hot in the studio. All right, yeah. So, guys, I'm gonna kill it. It's too hot. I didn't write anything for you guys. I'm sorry. I'll have a monologue tomorrow. I'll be properly dressed tomorrow. At least I wasn't in an undershirt. But yeah, I'm still. I think that's all I want to say about the decision. Anyway, I think it's a good thing. I think that anti-discrimination laws are, well, they're in effect. They don't have the intended effect, and they're a violation of free association. So I think that, and I want seriously, like, I want you guys to help me if this idea, this I've been really obsessing about this idea about the various isms, the various ists out there, the racists, the misogynists, the misandrists, the hateful people. The idea of them being misanthropes. I really like. Let me know what you think about that in the comments and on the Twitter, because I am going to find something cold to drink. In just a little while here, I think I'm going to find something cold to drink. This has been a short, late episode of Field Talk with me, your host, The Field, also known as Field of Bears. You can follow me on Twitter at Field of Bears. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content, even though I do not perform so well without tea and in this heat. PayPal.me slash PayPal.me/Field Talk to sow the field. And always remember that socialism always ends in starvation and genocide.